engine stand has now become my axle stand for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is drain the oil out of this. This is just a 1/4 inch reducer. But it fits well enough to undo this. God knows how old this oil is. I've had more trouble getting drain plugs out of cars 40 years younger than this one. Anyway. Ooh. Thick and disgusting. I'm going to leave that overnight now to drain. A little bit of a clean up with brake cleaner. The good thing is, there doesn't seem to be any metal in the oil or anything really bad like that. But I'll let it drain and then we'll see. We'll come back tomorrow. Then the next thing is to take one of these axles all the way out. I think that's how it works. And then you crack the case open and then dismantle the other side. I think I need to do some more reading. But this is the plan. Having aborted my engine mount mocking up process. What do I need to do? I need to change this input shaft to the banjo housing, as it's called. So we end up with a 6-spline one, which will fit the universal joint, female splines, 6 splines coming out of the gearbox. I also need to change my rear ratio here, because currently this is from a light, like a pickup truck or something, like a light van, made in Britain, under license with American parts. This has a 4.11 to 1 ratio. That's the ratio between the teeth on the pinion wheel, which sort of goes on like that, and the great big one, the crown wheel, which drives the axles and the wheels. And at the moment it gives me, it'd be great going up hills, but I'd have a really slow top speed. So I've been searching on the web. If I change that for a 3.25 to 1 crown wheel pinion gear ratio, that would give me, with 31-inch diameter tyres, that would give me 99 miles an hour top speed at 3,500 RPM, which is more in the zone where I want to be, because I'm not trying to break any records. I'm building this for fun, and it would still, it's not cheap, but it's a lot cheaper than a quick change, which is something I could always fit later on if I really wanted to. A quick change being a whole new centre section here, and it gives you these 2 straight cut gears, one above the other here, which you remove a plate and you can easily change them. So hot rodders would change them according to what they were using the car for. Do you want a higher top speed with less low end torque, or do you want loads of low end torque and acceleration off the line? So it depends what you were using the car for. But either way, the quick change in it, by virtue of its name, allowed you to change the ratio here really quickly. Now I think with 3.25 to 1 that would be about right. So while I'm waiting for these parts to come from States, I've read all the books. I need to dismantle my rear axle, take these tubes off each side and just get to grips with what's inside. And the first step for doing that is take the wheels off, take the split pin out, undo this nut. Now this is like a taper fit with a like a woodruff key, and there's a special puller tool which goes on here, which I've got one off, and we'll see how easy it is to get the drum off the axle. Goodness knows, I mean, when was this last done? Who knows? So it could be easy, it could be incredibly difficult. Either way, you're going to have a go. First step is to back off these adjusters. These are like wedges that screw in. It's like a wedge, pushes 2 pins out against the drums. So you can see as I turn it, it comes out a bit. It makes a little clicking noise, which is good. It suggests that it may have even been maintained at some point in the last 70 years. So yeah, the drum's free. So next is take the wheel off and apply the puller tool Okay, I've loosened but not removed the wheel nuts. I've taken the split pin out of here and undone that. I actually used a 24mm ring spanner actually. I don't know what that is in Imperial, but it's very close. So the next thing is to look at the puller. Now my puller, here we are, it's been adapted, so this is the bit. This bit goes in there. See, that fits pretty well behind that. So it's also like an adapter insert which goes in here. Right. That someone's made to make this work. So I'm just greasing this up, and I need to get this thread all the way out. It's not the most subtle thing in the world, is it? So see how we get on. I've got to retract this all the way. Right, well, oddly enough, with this spacer in, it doesn't quite fit. The axle's actually a bit longer than the distance from this to there by about 0.5 millimeter. So I can slim this down, or I can actually just grind away a tiny bit of metal here about 1 millimeter deep. It's literally a fraction of a millimeter, so I may just do it this way. So I've filled this with Vaseline, so as it fills up with metal fragments I can just wipe it off at the end. So I'm just going to use this and just take my time. I could use a file, it'll take a while. I could use something like that, but that's a bit overkill. I could use like a really small air grinder, but I don't have one. Or I could actually use the my trusty metal removing bits in the Dremel. In fact, I might do that actually. So there it is, all cleaned up. So let's see if it fits now. Bearing in mind there's a grease nipple just there, so we need to kind of avoid that as we put it on. There we go. Just fits. Also, you notice I'm leaving the nut on. I've just got about a 2 millimeter gap here. So basically, as I pull, if it moves out and hits the nut, then I'll take the puller off, take the nut off, and then bring it out the rest of the way. There we are. Making your own tools, eh? Right, I had to use this just to remove a tiny bit of metal from each surface because the corners are all burred. So I can just, hang on, you see what I mean? I can just get a 25mm spanner onto that. So let's fit it and see what happens, see how we get on. Right, it's on, it's tightish, so now I'm going to give it some real welly and see if I can get this pulled off. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film that. I did it up really tight, as tight as I dare go. Nothing happened for a minute, and then it suddenly popped off a couple of millimeters, which meant that just fell to the ground, and the nut did its job and stopped it. Yeah, it's not too mangled either. Stopped it coming off all the way. I was actually about to get a blowtorch out and start just gently heating this area here to expand it, but in the end, not necessary. And just the other side to go now. This side was a real pain. I did it up really tight. It still didn't budge. So if you look at the end here, clearly people have been hitting it. I went on some of the forums and some people say you basically hit it once with a sledgehammer and then you tighten it again as tight as you can, hit it with a sledgehammer, tighten it again. Other people say just leave it overnight, sometimes it'll pop off by the morning. Keep retightening, leave it overnight, keep retightening, you know, just be patient. And then of course the other idea people have suggested is heat it. So it's got this cheap propane torch. It's really old and rusty, still works. Just heat this area here, and sure enough, I've just heated it up. Just got it to the point where the paint was starting to burn off a bit, and it's just popped. It's just popped out a couple of millimeters, but basically that's the key. I can take you the rest of the way now. Whoa, not too difficult. The size of the bearings in that, pretty enormous. Right.